Alright folks, sorry about that. I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully the stream will stay up here. We have already started the match, and I'm turning down them here.
Alright, by the way, for those of you that are watching this on YouTube later on, this is actually being streamed and recorded live, so, you know, this is, we're going to have some technical difficulties, and we apologize for that. It kind of always happens with this sort of thing, but just bear with us, and it should be a fun cast. This is being done live. This is the MSL Semifinals between Jaedong and Cal. This is going to be a very, very epic series. We've been talking about it a little bit already before we started recording this. We're going to talk about it more later as well, obviously. I am Moletrap. I am here with Matt and Steve of Matt and Steve SC, and we are actually doing, you know, aside from the pros cast that Tasteless and Artosis have done, we're basically doing the first no lag online streaming of a StarCraft game with English commentary here. We're all in the same room at the same time. The mic and the video stream are coming from the same place, so there shouldn't be any lag at all. I'm really actually excited. Just, you know, even if the games are crappy and we all have aneurysms in the middle of the third game, I'm excited just for the quality level that's going on here. It's cool to be bringing that kind of thing to you guys. So anyway, we do see a very, very quick pool here from Jaedong, by the way. We were just talking a little bit earlier. We just did the Pro League game that these guys played a couple days ago, and Jaedong did a very, very quick pressure build with early Hydras and did a very quick bust. And we were thinking maybe he wanted to, you know, a lot of times players in these situations will use aggression to try and get in the other players' heads. He's trying to move into some Zerglings, trying to do a run by, which is really going to distract Cal. He gets only 2 Zerglings through out of 6, so that's pretty effective block there with those probes. But Jaedong is now going to be able to get inside of his base, see everything he's doing. He's going to harass probes, that kind of thing, and just generally cause mayhem. And you know, this early pressure is just the kind of thing that can get inside of a player's head and make them, you know, choke a little bit. We've seen it recently. Gonna have to spoil some other recent games here. I'm sorry to say it, but you know, recently we saw Flash really put the pressure on Quanro, and Quanro just didn't play his best in that series. You know, he's got some experience on the big stage like Cal does, but not a ton, and so, you know, that may have affected his gameplay. So we may see Jaedong trying to do the same exact sort of thing in this game.
I think, wow, and getting a probe kill there, Jaedong, really, you know, somebody who can use even just 2 Zerglings to the maximum effectively. Going in for another kill, that's a second probe kill for Jaedong, so that's actually really big, and as Moletrap was saying, not only are you getting a probe kill, you're also messing with the psyche of the other player. Now, Cal is always somebody who seems to be pretty cool and calm. Oh, and a third probe going down, possibly a 4th. No, not quite yet, but look at the micro. Notice how Jaedong is moving away the Zergling that's selected there that only has, you know, 1 or 2 hit points left. And, wow, just very high level play, which is what we'd expect. Going in first with the Zergling that has almost full health there, and looks like 1 Zergling has 1 kill, and as, of course, Zerglings regain health. So as the Zerglings are running around in the base here, they're slowly regaining health, allowing Jaedong to go back in. More Zerglings coming up here right now. They haven't showed Jaedong's base quite yet, assuming he's taking up to lair right now, and another probe kill! That is 4 total probe kills, 3 with 1, and 1 kill on the other one there. And Zealot is out, but there's more and more of Zerglings streaming up here to try to distract.
Yeah, I don't know where Cal's Zealot's been. It looks like we've got 1 Zealot out here, which is probably getting surrounded by these lanes. Doug gets surrounded by lanes. Whoa. That's bad control by Cal. So it looks like Cal is a little bit crumbling under the pressure here. Maybe the first game, just nervousness is not set off. Jaedong is now getting a spy here, but folks, this is the advantage of getting an early pool. You know, yeah, you could be behind an economy later on against the Protoss, but when you're able to sneak Lings in like this, it just, you know, you're able to get Lings out faster, you're able to get your tech up faster, and just put a lot of pressure on. In the meantime, Jaedong's getting up his 3rd, so the more he puts pressure on the Cal, that's longer and longer it takes for Cal to be able to move out his base and also be able to try to stop Jaedong's 3rd. So right now, there's no way Cal's going to be, you know, sending anything towards Jaedong's 3rd. We only saw 1 Zealot out for Cal, which I was really surprised. I'm not sure why he hasn't been building more Zealots. Again, I don't know why he didn't send a Zealot to protect his probes in the base. There were only 2 Zerglings there. Usually 2 Zerglings is not enough to do very much harassment, but in this case, I do think it has done quite a bit of harassment. It was at least 3 or 4 probes that went down. You could just see in his base, it looks like Cal does have better saturation now. First Corsair is going to get out, so he's going to scout and see what's going on. Although he's not really going to see much, except, you know, 3 hatcheries and the extra hatchery going up. Cal is now pushing out with a couple of Zealots and a Dragoon, but he has to be careful with you know, there was already a lot of Lings on the field. It looks like most of them now, there's not too many left. Cal has killed most of them off. We do see some eggs morphing there, but it's probably just going to be drones. But yeah, at this point,
wrong place at the wrong time.
Out of the womb into the grave with a purpose, my friend.
And another mistake by Cal. It's these little mistakes that just keep adding up. I thought his wall was really good in the beginning. Actually, Mutas are out.
Mutas popping.
So Muta's already out, and the first Corsair has gone down. Cal is not going to have enough cans. It looks like he is smartly building a couple cans in his main, so that's decent by Cal, but he only has one Dragoon and no Corsairs at this point. He's probably going to have one Corsair and one Dragoon to fend off. It looks like 6 Mutas and Scourge to take out that first Corsair, so Cal is really going to have to be careful with this micro here to take these Mutas on.
Wow, this is really, really high pressure, and this is exactly what Jaedong should be doing with that early advantage. Now he's coming in to do some harassment as well. Picking off that first Corsair was absolutely crucial. Now he can easily fend off that second Corsair with those Scourge, and a third probably pretty easily as well with just the Mutas, so he can have these Mutas doing a lot of damage for a long time. Just coming in doing harassment there. He did get cannons up in his main, so that's is not going to have to worry on his main too much after all. I gotta say, Jaedong here is putting a lot of pressure on him, and he's actually doing everything right, and this is kind of a situation where most of the time the Zerg player, especially a Zerg player of his caliber, is going to be able to use that early advantage to just put a ton of mid-game pressure and usually win in the mid-game against a Protoss player. But Cal is somehow managing to keep his tech up. He's keeping his tech rate up. He's not slowing down his tech. He hasn't fallen behind in that. He's still managing to keep his army up. He's still keeping his macro up. So he's actually not as far behind as most Protoss players would be in this situation. But you're right, it's these little things keep adding up, and he can't really, any more of those little things, he's not going to be able to come back from it. Like losing, he hasn't done any damage with his Zealots, he hasn't done any damage with his Corsairs, he's lost, I think it was actually 5 probes in the beginning, because like on the kill counts on the Zerglings, there was actually an extra one on there.
Right.
So Cal is not quite out of it yet, but just all these little things have definitely given Jaedong an advantage, and Cal's going to have to do something interesting to kind of get back in this. Jaedong now feeling confident enough in his map control to take a 4th base very early, and there's really nothing Cal can do about it. He's just basically right now got to hope he can get his Templar tech up in time to hold off the Hydras that are bearing down on him right now in order to make it a longer game and try and get some clutch storm drops in or something to come back into the game, because right now he's really feeling the pressure. He's going to have to be really defensive.
Yeah, I mean, I almost think that it might even be wise to go for a couple Reavers for your front door. Of course, we'll see, Protoss players do that if they're suspecting a Hydra break or something that's going to come in. Just get a Reaver or 2, place it at your front door there, and did we see, was that a Templar?
Templars, 2 Templars.
Okay, so we have the Templars. So, again, Templar is the next best thing. Obviously, the Storm can do a ton of damage. So I think that Cal is, I totally agree with you, Moltrap. Cal is doing everything he can, man. He is not giving up. Cal is a very strong player, somebody who really knows the game. There's a Dark Templar coming out. 2 Dark Templars coming out, if he can get them across the map, giving away kind of the position of one of them right there by killing the Zergling, but that was a scouting Zergling, so that's actually not a bad thing to take out.
DTs, unfortunately, don't do any good anymore in PvZ. They used to be, like, so clutch, but Zergs have gotten so consistent and so good at getting a Sunk and an Overlord in every base that it just really doesn't work, especially if you don't have Corsairs.
Really, the most effective DTs are when you can drop them behind with a shuttle, and we haven't seen any shuttle play with Cal yet. So, oh wow, and there we go. And there's the first DT that is going to go down to Lurkers and to Sunken and Mutalisks. So that DT didn't really have a chance.
Yeah, well, I think one advantage for Cal on this map, on match point, is there's a really small choke. And so that makes it really easy for him to turtle with his Awesome City. It looks like he did get one kill there on his DT. He's going to have to go sacrifice, try to get one more kill. Jaedong not pulling his probe, so he's going to lose 2 more drones there. A little unnecessary if he would have paid more attention there. We do see 4 High Templar out here for Cal, and Cal also switching to Dragoons at this point, so he's going to have a relatively decent army to hold off Mutas. The question is, how big is Jaedong's economy going to become? It looks like Cal is positioning to take that 3rd base, so that 3rd base is going to be really critical, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to hold it. A Lurker already coming in here. This has been kind of Jaedong's signature build lately, is he uses that pull to get the quick tech to get the Lurkers out, and at this point, a Protoss player is not going to have Observers out, and Storm they're actually missing, so first Storm doing no damage. Second Storm, that was the second Storm that did do some damage, but at this point, Lurkers are containing nicely spread out there, so Storms will not do as much damage. They can't kill more than one Lurker at once, so like you said, Jaedong doing a lot of things right here. Again, Cal does have that door that he can fall back to, but the problem is if he can never get this 3rd base up, he's not going to be in a good position later on in the game. He does have a lot of Dragoons there, but again, no Observers at this point, so there's no way he can push out. There's the Rabak facility now. They're looking for the Observatory. There's the Observatory just on your screen, so he is going to have Observers out in about 20 seconds, but it might be too late if Jaedong pushes in right now with the Lurkers. He does push in with the Hydras. He is forcing a Storm. Beautiful beautiful storm dodge. Another storm hitting the lurker, but again, there's a lot of hydras. Oh, really good storm there for Cal. Does get quite a few hydras, but again, Jaedong is just pushing in, and now the Nexus gets focused down. So I feel that Cal's gonna have to just continually fall back until he can get some observers out. And most of his storm has been used at this point, so he's not gonna have very much storm left to push out if he does want to push out.
Well, and that was, I mean, the High Templars were, other than a few cannons, one of the primary defenses for his natural, and he just used a lot of storms. I'm actually surprised Jaedong, well, he probably didn't have enough units yet, but if Jaedong were to go for a double attack and do one attack at the third base, wow, and another careless mistake by Cal. Cal cannot be losing the Corsairs. In fact, he needs to be using those Corsairs to try to snipe some Overlords or two to try to take down the food count, to try to distract Jaedong just a little bit. Right now, this game has been in Jaedong's hands pretty much this entire time. Now, Cal doing a good job with storms, losing another Corsair. God, I feel like I'm watching a Terran player that's losing Science Vessels, although obviously Science Vessels are a little bit more important in that kind of game. Big attack going in here. A lot of Zerglings coming in, trying to get surrounds of the Dragoons. That Dragoon's going to go down, burrowing and moving up Lurkers perfectly, leapfrogging Lurkers right into the third base here. And observers just now coming out. There is an observer out there. And you know what? Okay, Cal, you can lose your Corsairs, but don't lose your observers. All right? Don't pull a Stork. Don't lose your observers. We need to see those so that you can try to push out here.
Oh, man. Cal trying to move up this ramp. He desperately needs to get out of here. Oh, there goes one observer. The other second observer running for his dear life. The Dragoon is not able to protect it, distracted by Zerglings. And guys, I am really...
Oh
my God! Tons of Zerglings coming in from both sides. Cal is going to get slaughtered all the way back to his natural expansion. Guys, I am really concerned for Jaedong right now because he always loses the first game and then wins the next three, and he's clearly not going to lose this game. There's GG! Cal going down absolutely emphatically to Jaedong in the first game. Jaedong just totally taking command of that game from start to finish and not letting Cal have an inch, not even a tenth of an inch, not even any other smaller fraction of a small unit of length measurement.
Well, thank you.
And you could just see the intensity on Jaedong's face. That was the beast mode that we like to see.
That's right.
He certainly can be in a position where up game one, it's hard to know if he might just be unstoppable at this point. I do think, though, that some of those early game antics by Cal, not sending a Zealot to help protect his probes, losing more probes than he needed to two Zerglings, obviously that's something that Jaedong does really well, as Michael says Zerglings really well, but at the same time that can be looked at as possibly just nerves for Cal maybe. You can see he was already sweating there, whereas Jaedong wasn't sweating at all, so Cal might be a little nervous, and usually that wears off after the first game, so I do think that we are going to see hopefully a better second game. But what Jaedong did was actually kind of a build I kind of expected, because we've been seeing a lot more Zergs, Jaedong in particular, going pool first. A lot of times Zergs will go, a 12 hatch, and that's kind of what we've seen as the standard. But lately, a lot of Zergs have been getting that pull down faster, and what's great about that is it allows you to get the Zerglings out that much quicker. It also allows you to get your tech up that much quicker, and it's just more of an aggressive way to take control over the map, take map control. And as you saw, Jaedong was able to get his third hatchery up without really any contestation from Cal, and that is a map where I really expected to see Cal maybe push out with like a +1 Zealot attack or something like that, because there's so much distance between that third base and your second that it's definitely vulnerable to that attack. So the fact that Jaedong went pull first really protected his third hatchery and allowed him to get the economy up, and then from there we just saw him build a bunch of Zerglings and Hydras and Lurkers.
I think he basically,
I love that
was really cool. He knew that Cal had no more Storm. He knew that Cal was being forced to build more Dragoons and less Templar because of all the Lurkers all over the place. So he's like, well, no Storm, that means Masslings for the win. He had his Hive up, so he may have had Crack upgrade as well, which, doubles the efficiency of the Zerglings. So, just...
I love to see that.
Very, very epic finish.
Yeah. Being a Zerg player myself, and you as well, Moltrap, that's... I mean, if you're going to get overrun by a Zerg, get overrun the right way by a Zerg. With 50 Zerglings at your doorstep, that's obviously an exaggeration.
Indeed.
But that was good. All right, well, we have a lull between games here.
Yeah, so those of you that are watching on YouTube, later on, we're going to go ahead and stop the video here, and you're just going to be able to move on to game 2. Those of you that are watching live, we're just going to have some other antics that we're just
Yes,
talking.
we have some interesting stuff.
We
for
have
you
some
guys.
cool stuff to show you in between games, and I guess maybe we'll put the links to some of the stuff we show
We will.
in the video description on YouTube later on. But in the meantime, don't go away. Stick around. We're going to just chat about the maps and stuff until the next game starts.
All right.